Jahai Hamilton Cruz. Mr. Cruz, I thought you had an attorney. Are you with Lister Holt Dennis, or is this a new case? No, this is an old case. I thought you had an attorney. You have two cases.
I don't know. Something's like the system's messed up because when I just got out of the court a couple months ago, that my attorney told me the case was dropped. Then I had to rehire him or something. So I'm confused. I might have to hire another one or rehire him.
Okay, so you got two cases. So I don't know, but I've heard somebody else say something about the case being dropped, but I'm not sure why that keeps happening. Because we haven't dropped any cases that I haven't signed off on. If I sign off on them, you'll get that information will be in the computer. Ms.
Okay.
Hahn, is your office representing Mr. Cruz?
Your Honor, so that I went to check to see if it was something that maybe we didn't turn in an appointment order for. I looked at the last appearance where he was in on a jail calendar, and it looks like we announced not guilty on his behalf. So I'm assuming that we could, but then now he's saying that he had spoken to somebody and hired somebody. So
I think he might be confused about that. Mr. Cruz, did you actually hire someone, or is it that we appointed you an attorney when you were here in the jail?
Okay, I was appointed an attorney in jail, but I did hire someone on the charges. But one of the charge, I went through Judge Scott, so she dropped one of the charges, but it wasn't showing up in the system or something. So the lawyer said he was going to get back to me with that, but he never got back to me.
Who's Judge Scott?
She's a dark. I mean, she's a African American woman with gray hair. I can't.
Judge Matt, Judge Scott, Beatrice.
Huh?
Is it Beatrice?
Oh, Judge Scott. Okay. In magistrate court?
I don't know. I've been dealing with this case since 2021, and like I've been
Yeah.
going just around. I really don't.
And then you got another one in 2023, but we won't talk about that right this second.
Yes,
So I don't have that anybody has put in an appearance. If you wish, because you had counsel before and they kind of already talked to you about your case, I can appoint Lister Holton Dennis to finish talking to you about these two cases. Or if you want to hire an attorney, I can give you 30 days, like a continuance, just one continuance. But if you hire them, make sure they're covering both cases.
Okay. Is it the way I can have my mom call like y'all office so I can make sure I get both cases where they can hire her? Or
Well,
who's
I can give you the case numbers. That's not a problem. And they can be hired for both cases when you talk to them. So it's just a matter of getting the case number. But how old are you?
28? I just turned 28.
Well, why your mama need to call?
Because I don't know how to go through things like this, man. I'm just getting my life like on the right track, so I'm still learning.
Okay. Well, this is the best time to learn. You just Google Clayton County Clerk's Office and then ask them about your cases, to give them your name, and they'll give the case number. But actually, if you have an attorney, they can do that for you. You just make sure you tell them you have two cases. You have a 2023 case and a 2021 case.
Okay. And the 2021 case, what is that one about? What's
Sure.
the name of that?
For fleeing the police, leaving the scene, speeding, you was wilding out on the road, allegedly.
I have
25
one.
to 30 miles per hour over the limit and no insurance. So that was the first one. Then the 2023 is driving on a suspended or revoked license, marijuana 1 ounce or less, and tampering with evidence.
Okay, with the first case,
Don't tell me anything about it, because you need to maintain your defense. All I want to know right now is, do you want me to appoint them as an attorney, or do you want to hire an attorney? That's all I need to know.
That's what I was trying to get the understanding too. The lawyer that I hired when I was in jail, he told me that he dealt with the first case alone. Then Judge Scott, when I went to court when I was in jail, she released me with bond and stuff like that. She was telling me the fleeing and looting was dropped, but she had to get back with her office or something because it kept showing up in the system, because I had to pay for that bond the whole, like a second or the third time for the same bond. So like my mom or nothing, we never got back with her, or like, because she said she dropped the fleeing and looting case. That's what I'm trying to get to. So
well, she might have done that at first appearance. Okay, so let me tell you how it works. So Judge Scott is in magistrate court. So I used to be in magistrate court. Actually, we used to work together. So I'm gonna tell you what you might be talking about. So when we get the first appearance paperwork, that means you got arrested for something and you're coming up for your first appearance before a judge. That happens in magistrate court. So as soon as you get arrested and they process you in at the jail, you'll come before a magistrate court judge and she'll look at your charges. So before you come into court, she has your paperwork. And if she looks at the charges and she decides that from the paperwork that she has and what the police have given her, certain charges aren't applicable, she could dismiss them at the time and go forward on one charge or all the charges or change the charges. If she feels like a misdemeanor should be a felony or a felony should be a misdemeanor. So there's a lot of leeway about that. But when the case gets moved up to state court, it has to go through the prosecutor's office, and the prosecutor can look at it again and they can decide to bring back those charges that Judge Scott may have gotten rid of at first appearance. So it's a lot that goes on between the time you get arrested and the time your actual charges show up in the trial court here in state court. So while I'm not doubting that Judge Scott may have gotten rid of some of those, and we can look that up, some of them can be brought back during the process that the solicitor uses when they accuse a case. Okay. So I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying it may have changed by the time your case gets here.
Okay, and I have one more thing too.
Sure.
I've been locked up for the same, like the first charge. I was locked up 3 times for the same thing, dealing with like something wrong with the system. And she's seen that too. And my lawyer kind of seen that. I was locked up 3 times or 4 times for the same thing. Like my bond was never revoked, but the bonding company I went through free at last, they was saying like something with the clerk system that we never revoked your bond, but they issued a warrant out on you. So I like got locked up for that for a week. Then I bonded out of jail again because they say they never went off my bond. So I never missed a court date. I don't know what's the issue with that. So it's like I've been locked up 3 times for the same charge or the same first case. So like my lawyer and the judge was gonna get it situated. I don't know.
Miss Amanda, if you could look into that and see, because I don't see a second bench warrant for him. Like generally, if you get a bench warrant and you get arrested on a bench warrant, I've put a second bond on you. And I only see that you have the same one from free at last. I don't see an additional bond. So they'll tell me, like, if you have a bench warrant and you come in and then you bond out, I will see 2 bonds. I will see one from free at last, and I generally will see one from the person or a family member or something. So I only see one. So we're going to check and make sure there's no bench warrant for you, which is the only way you would get arrested again. But you have 2 charges, so you would have been arrested at least twice once on each charge.
This was before 2023. Before I caught the second charge, I was arrested 3 times with dealing with the same charge.
Okay, so we're going to look into that because I recognize your name, but only because you've come before the court on appearances on video. So I recognize your name. But you could be right. I'm not saying that you're not. But what we're going to do is we're going to try and figure out if there are any outstanding warrants or failures to appear for you so that this doesn't become an issue.
Okay. And later, can I have my mom call up to your office so we can get this a better understanding too on my end?
It'd be better if she called the clerk's office because but what would actually be better is if you had an attorney, because they could talk to the clerk's office, they could talk to the solicitor's office, they could talk to everybody.
Okay.
So I have that you let's see. Somebody looked it up for me. 1 second, let me pull it up. Are you on probation somewhere?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I get it. This is clear now. All right. So every time you get a new charge, that's a violation of probation. So when you got the 2021 charge, you got arrested for the 2021 charge, but you probably got arrested for a probation violation also once your probation found out. Then when you got the 2023 charge, you got arrested for that charge and you probably got arrested for a probation violation also.
Yes, those 2 times, yes, but in between, before I caught the 2023 charge, I was arrested 2 more times before, because I remember it was
For here? For
yes for
Clayton County?
yes, because Free last called me in for my birthday. My birthday is March 21st. They told me to come in for my birthday. It was, I think it was last, like 2022. They told me to come in for my birthday to sign some papers. I'm like, it's my birthday. Is there a way I can come in? It was like a Friday or something. She's like, is there a way I can come in? Just like the supervisor at Free last, like, okay, sir, that's understandable. Can you please come in on the this following Monday before you can sign the papers, this and that, because we had to update something with the clerk system because they had a warrant out on you, but because you missed a court date, but we never received the court date to let you know. So it's a mixed up in the system. So when I got down to Free last, they called the sheriff's office across the street and they came and picked me up. And I was explaining to them, my mom was explaining, like talking to the people. The supervisor was saying, well, we never went off on his bond. We don't see why he has a warrant on him. A warrant was never issued out on him. So they took me to jail. I was locked up for like 3-4 days, and I bonded out again. And I like started this whole process again, dealing with the same case. But my lawyer was getting everything situated, but like I don't know, because I'm so confused at this point. Like I'm just
Okay.
jumping around.
All I have in our system is that you got arrested on these 2 cases individually and that they were two probation violations. That's all we have.
Yes,
Yeah,
I understand that.
Yes, Ms. King?
I will tell you that when I looked at the CPUA, I do see 3 different requests for bench warrants. One in March, one in May, both in 2023, and then another one in June or July. But also, Mr. Cruz has currently has a probation warrant out on him. So he's currently wanted for a violation of probation.
Is this
As of now,
probation? Hold on. Is his probation out of Clayton or somewhere else?
I'm not sure. CPUA, let me see if I can.
And then those when you said, well, the bench warrants, did I actually sign bench warrants for him all 3 times?
That I'm not sure of. I just see in CPUA where they were requested all 3 times. And I think 2 of them went on the bond forfeiture. So you must have signed it for 2.
Mr. Cruz, have you moved? Is your address different?
no, ma'am. I've been staying in the same house for the last 4 or 5 years. 205 Fayetteville Road. That's why, like, I don't understand. I've been dealing with this, and I've just been bouncing around, going in and out of jail, spending money for bonds. Like, I owe my mom so much money right now. That's why I'm really getting my life on track. I'm paying her back, and I got to pay for a lawyer, this and that, to deal with this same case. So, like, I don't know.
I'm trying to appoint you a lawyer to take care of them, but you want to pay for one. That's fine. That's up to you. But I can appoint a lawyer to you who can deal with this whole confusion thing.
I mean, I'm just trying to stay out of jail because I'm really getting my life on track. Whatever's like, if I pay for a lawyer, would it be more easier that I can actually stay home with my family? And
I'm not going to make you come to jail to give you a lawyer. I was going to offer you the opportunity to speak one to one today. I just put you in a breakout room with one. But, you know, I'm not arresting you, Mr. Cruz. You showed up for court. I don't have a problem with that. I don't know who has your probation, and I don't know where it's from, and I don't know why you keep getting probation violations. So I have nothing to do with that unless it's probation for me, and then they'll come to me and tell me why.
Okay. And will my lawyer be able to get everything situated?
Any lawyer can have access to anything that they're entitled to for your case. So I don't know, as far as you telling me, I don't know whether they will do the work to get it situated, but they have access to that information.
Okay, what about if I have the public defender, would they like work? And what would be a better option for me?
Mr. Cruz, I can't tell you what your option is, but I can tell you that, first of all, we don't have public defenders in misdemeanor court. We just hire a law firm that does the work for us. So they hire the attorneys, and those attorneys from that firm come in and do the work. But number 2, people have given public defenders and people who do indigent defense a bad reputation. But think about this. if somebody is in court with the same judge and the same prosecutors and the same clerks every single day, and they talk to them every single day and they negotiate with them every single day, who do you think has more ability to have access to stuff and know what a judge or a prosecutor are going to do than somebody who talks to them and deals with them every single day? Now, if you want to hire an attorney, that's up to you. I don't have a problem. There are amazing attorneys out there. Ms. Gatson, right there, amazing attorneys. But when people say, well, you know, I don't want to have a public defender, I try and dispel the negativity because it has not been my experience that they don't work as hard as somebody else.
Okay.
So that's up to you. But you got to tell me something soon because I got a whole calendar to get through and I'm spending half of it on you and your case.
I know. I'm so sorry. Okay. Is it a way that I can talk to her if I don't understand what she's saying, that I could hire somebody?
Well, I mean, she speaks English. I can appoint you, but if I appoint you, that's your lawyer. I'm not going to waste an appointment for you to just interview. Go ahead and hire your own attorney, Mr. Cruz. That'll be easier for everybody. I'll give you a 30-day continuance on both your cases. Right now, I'm not requesting any bench warrants for Mr. Cruz. I won't be requesting any bench warrants for Mr. Cruz. So we'll go ahead and give you time to hire an attorney.
Okay, so 30 days from this day, or may I have or a little addition?
We'll give you notice.
Okay. I was just asking.
But
okay,
you got a minimum of 30 days, so make sure you go ahead and hire them as soon as you can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hayward. All right.
Yes. Morning, Judge.
Do I stay on the phone call? Can I call my mom?
Can you what? As long as you mute. If you want to stay on the call, that's fine. Just mute.
I was asking if I was finished. Can I
you're finished.
Okay.
You're finished with me. But if you want to stay and observe, that's fine as long as you mute your device.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry and thank you so much.
No problem. So Suzanne Downing, Jacoby Hudson. In a moment, you can take Mr. Ho back down. Okay, Hollingsworth, William Hollingsworth. I feel like we just did that case. No. William Hollingsworth?
He's in the courtroom.
Oh, here we go. Mr. Hollingsworth?
Yes.
So, Mr. Hollingsworth, you're before the court for theft by shoplifting. This is a trial calendar. Your case is one of the older cases, so it's likely to go to trial. Do you have an attorney to represent you? Because I don't see anybody on this list.
No, I represent myself.
Okay, so I need to read you the Ferrata list. Miss Powell, if you could give me what I sent you the other day, the Ferrata questions, because I need to go over this with Mr. Hollingsworth because he wants to represent himself at trial.
Yes, Judge, I'll have that to you in just a second.
All right, thank you.
I think I'm calling black. Native mama.
So, Mr. Hollingsworth, can you hear me? All right, so Mr. Hollingsworth, you have indicated that you wish to represent yourself at trial on a theft by shoplifting charge. You are waiving counsel. Do you understand that self-representation is most always unwise?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you may defend yourself, but it might be to your detriment?
Yeah, I understand. I looked up on it. I understand.
Okay. Do you understand that you are entitled to no special treatment by the court if you represent yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that you must follow all of the technical rules of substantive law, criminal procedure, and evidence for making motions, objections, presentation of evidence, jury selection, and argument, even if you don't know what those rules are.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that you'll have to abide by the same rules that it took lawyers years to learn.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and if you represent yourself, you're assuming full responsibility for your defense.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you may miss important defenses to the case because of your lack of knowledge of the law?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that even if you have some knowledge of the law, you'll lose the benefit of an independent perspective of an attorney in analyzing, reviewing, and presenting the case in the most effective way?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you are found guilty, you may not be able to present the case in a manner to obtain the most favorable sentence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you understand that your access to the solicitor will be reduced, making it more difficult to defend yourself because you'll have less of a chance to work out a favorable resolution?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that the prosecution will be represented by an experienced and skilled attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You understand that you will not receive any special treatment or help from the court?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that the prosecution's attorney will treat you just as the prosecutor will treat any other attorney? The prosecutor will not go easy on you because you're representing yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that you have, that if you behave in any disruptive manner in court, the court can terminate your self-representation and appoint someone to assist you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And do you understand if you get convicted, you cannot claim your own incompetency as a basis for an appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that you'll not be given any extra time to prepare for the case because you're representing yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You understand that if you have a right to the effective assistance of a lawyer at all stages of this case, and if you cannot afford one, the court could appoint one to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that the lawyer would select a jury to try your case, including questions to the jury and seeking to remove those jurors who would not be good for your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that the lawyer may make an opening statement to the jury about your side of the case?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that the lawyer will subpoena witnesses for you, question witnesses against you, and present physical and documentary evidence on your behalf?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that the lawyer would object to the prosecutor's questions and evidence on your behalf?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that the lawyer may make various motions on your behalf, such as a motion to keep out prosecution evidence, to dismiss the case, or to give you a new trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that the lawyer would argue your side of the case to the jury?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that the lawyer will prepare and give to the court legal instructions for the jury, which might be favorable to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that the lawyer would argue for leniency at any sentencing if you were convicted?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Have you received a copy of the accusation stating the charges against you?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Can we run up a copy of the accusation and have the investigator give it to him since he's in court?
Yes, Your Honor, we'll do that.
All right. Do you understand that the charge against you is theft by shoplifting, sir?
Yes.
Do you understand the possible penalties in the case if you're found guilty of the charge?
Yes.
Would be convicted and that you could spend 12 months in jail, have a $5,000 fine, or both for the offense?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And do you understand that if you're not a citizen of the United States and you're found guilty of the charge, you could be deported from this country, excluded from entering this country, and denied an opportunity to become a naturalized citizen of this country? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that once the trial begins, you cannot change your mind and ask for a lawyer to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you, sir?
28.
How many years of school have you completed?
0.
Did you graduate high school?
12 years of grade school. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
And do you read, write, and understand English?
Yes.
Have you previously represented yourself in any criminal case?
No, ma'am.
All right. Do you think you're going to do a better job than a lawyer?
With the circumstances of the case, I think so.
Okay. Why do you think you would be better than a lawyer representing you?
It's just really just a misunderstanding about the situation that happened.
Okay. And have you ever been under the care of a psychiatrist, psychologist, or other mental health professional?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have you been threatened in any way to get you to waive your right to an attorney?
No, ma'am.
Have you been promised anything to make you waive your right to an attorney?
No, ma'am.
All right. And are you waiving your right to have an attorney representing you in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So on this date, on July 29, 2024, Mr. Hollingsworth has been given an examination on his understanding of self-representation, the disadvantages of representing himself, the advantages of having a lawyer, all of the information that is necessary under FRADA. Mr. Hollingsworth, you still are determined to represent yourself at trial?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So I will have this for you in writing. On September 9th, when we are ready to go to trial. Your case is one of the older cases, so please understand that we are likely to go to trial, and you will have to present your information before a judge, before myself, the judge, and a jury.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, sir, all I can suggest to you is that you go in and watch some trials from start to finish in this building or some other court building before September 9th. So you have some understanding of how this works, because I can't treat you any differently, and I can't make any, the problem that you're going to have, and I don't think you understand this, is you're talking about it being some kind of misunderstanding. But you have to be able to get that information before the court so that it is admitted into the record of the court and can be considered. Just because you say it doesn't mean the court can consider it. There is a procedure for how it has to happen. So I'm just leaving you with that. All right, at this time, you're free to go, and you'll be back in court on September 9th, ready for trial.
Thank you.
You're welcome.